You will not be able to stay home, brother. You will not be able to plug in, turn on, and cop out. You will not be able to lose yourself on Skag and skip out for beer during commercials because the revolution will not be televised. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution will not be brought to you by Xerox in 4 parts without commercial interruptions. The revolution will not show you pictures of Nixon blowing a bugle and leading a charge by John Mitchell, General Abrams, and Spyro Agnew to eat hog maws confiscated from a Harlem sanctuary. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution will not be brought to you by the Schaefer Award Theater and will not star Natalie Woods and Steve McQueen or Bullwinkle and Julia. The revolution will not give your mouth sex appeal. The revolution will not get rid of the nub. The revolution will not make you look 5 pounds thinner because the revolution will not be televised, brother. There will be no pictures of you and Willie Mae pushing that shopping cart down the block on the dead run or trying to slide that color TV into a stolen ambulance. NBC will not be able to predict the winner at 8:32 on report from 29 districts. The revolution will not be televised. There will be no pictures of pigs shooting down brothers on the instant replay. There will be no pictures of pigs shooting down brothers on the instant replay. There will be no pictures of Whitney Young being run out of Harlem on a rail with a brand new process. There will be no slow motion or still life of Roy Wilkins strolling through Watts in a red, black, and green liberation jumpsuit that he has been saving for just the proper occasion. Green Acres, Beverly Hillbillies, and Hooterville Junction will no longer be so damn relevant, and women will not care if Dick finally got down with Jane on Search for Tomorrow, because black people will be in the street looking for a brighter day. The revolution will not be televised. There will be no highlights on the 11 o'clock news and no pictures of Harry R. Women liberationists and Jackie Onassis blowing her nose. The theme song will not be written by Jim Webb or Francis Scott Key, nor sung by Glenn Campbell, Tom Jones, Johnny Cash, Engelbert Humperdinck, or The Rare Earth. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution will not be right back after a message about a white tornado, white lightning, or white people. You will not have to worry about a dove in your bedroom, the tiger in your tank, or the giant in your toilet bowl. The revolution will not go better with coke. The revolution will not fight germs that may cause bad breath. The revolution will put you in the driver's seat. The revolution will not be televised, will not be televised, will not be televised, will not be televised. The revolution will be no rerun, brothers. The revolution will be live.
Acknowledge yourself tonight. First off, I would like to say it is important to know thyself because yourself came from Allah, God.
Black News.
2, we spend a lot of time developing ourselves, striving to be like the God we came from. 3, question. Do you believe that it's important to have self-identity and knowledge of self? Why or why not? Please elaborate.
And she's talking about knowledge of self, so please call in.
Okay, yes, ma'am. It's very important to have knowledge of self because he who is without knowledge of self will be and will always be totally lost.
Deacon, appreciate y'all.
We have created the hashtag resurrection of the mental dead. Okay, is because as we look at our ancestors who were before us on the plantation system, during the civil rights movement, during the Black empowerment movement, as you know, these miseducational public indoctrination centers, commonly referred to as public schools, does everything to take us away from our knowledge of ourselves. Okay, and I see we had a call drop. Okay, which is fine. They're welcome to call back in. Okay, so it's very, very essential that we have knowledge of ourselves. So therefore, to know where we come from, so therefore we can know where we're going, such as with the concept of Sankofa. Yes, also too, the continent of where we come from, is very, very diverse, where you have more than 800 languages on it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you for that. Anyone else? Once again, the question is, do you believe that it's important to have self-identity and knowledge of self? Why or why not? Please elaborate.
Yes, ma'am. The reason why you have to have knowledge of yourself, so you will know which direction of which you are going. Also, too, you have to look at the adversaries of who are against knowledge of self. And a classic example is Dr. Henry Louis Gates, is because on our StreamYard earlier today with Frontline Black News, we had reviewed some material about Dr. Gates, and it was extremely disappointing. Is because he is placing more emphasis over the white raping, slave trading pedophiles that violated his family line as opposed to his true African identity. You see what I mean?
Yes.
And this is what they do not want to teach in these public indoctrination centers that I refer to as the public school system. Because look at the current agenda that you got being taught. A man calling himself a woman, a man shoving ketchup up his rectum, talking about that he is having a menstrual cycle. And this is a direct insult to the sanctity of womanhood. You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
And I just don't know no better way to put it. You see what I'm saying? I really don't.
516-418-5916.
With me being an old bird on my way out, right? And what I mean by on my way out, just off the natural law of biophysics. You see what I'm saying? I cannot go before the ancestors with my head held high, not knowing I did not try my best to relate to the generations after me of what I have lived through. So self-identity is extremely important. Now, when I look at these Uncle Toms like Morgan Freeman, man, I ain't no African man. I did imagine, you know, Uncle Tim's guy. Oh, you the Bob, I didn't love you, Bob. I feel sorry, you know, and I know I'm being a little comical, but on that note, I got to laugh to keep from crying. You see, and then this fool is going to get up here and say, well, America is not a racist country. Sir, the country was built on racism. Hey, Brother Che, welcome. Okay, Brother Che unmuted himself. Brother Che? Okay, Brother Che. Okay, mic is unmuted, but we're getting a lot of feedback. Okay, Brother Che, we're getting a lot of feedback. Yes, I can hear you barely, but you sound very, very far away, but you got a lot of feedback coming through your microphone, sir. Okay, Brother Che dropped. He's probably going to call back in off of another line. Okay, Sister Hatshepsut, please continue. That day is Che Nkrumah, you know, who is running for the Colorado State Assembly. Please be sure to vote for that brother in. It's because he has a Black first agenda. He gets hate mail like I do. Is because we speak against the popular version of what is truth. But please continue, you know, with your lesson, Sister Hatshepsut.
Well, I just wanted to say that it is most definitely important to have self-identity and knowledge of self, which is knowledge of Allah.
Yeah.
We must connect with the Creator in order to do this, realizing that we were created by an entity which is supreme and divine, tells us that not only did He breathe into us of His Spirit, but we obtain similar qualities of Allah God. So we came from Him a Black God. There's nothing wrong with learning about yourself.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
And there's nothing wrong with having self-identity.
Yes, ma'am. That is correct. It's because keep in mind is that when you look at these Europeans, mainly the Romans and the Greeks in particular, is that they stole knowledge, as Professor George D.M. James has stated in Stolen Legacy. And also, too, ma'am, with you being an educator, if I make any errors, please do not hesitate to correct me is because I am going a lot from memory over the years, you know, from years ago when I was studying. Okay, so therefore you would have these other groups who came from a filthy, barbarous society, stealing our knowledge, okay, and claiming it as their own. The classic ones would be these guys called Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle. But then you had another savage by the name of Alexander the Barbarian, and they said that he was great. And off of research that I've done, I found out that this fool was not so great. As you know, Sister Hatshepsut, during the time of your namesake, where she commanded her troops in the field out of Kemet, this barbarian, you know, comes through there, and he was Greek
for the show.
And then, as you know, at that time, when the caravans had traveled across the Sahara, okay, you know, they're going to be out there for a minute. So this campaign is going to last for a while. I'm talking about, you know, it's a few months. But then doing research on Alexander the Barbarian, from what I understand, he did not have any women with him. He had little boys. You catch my drift on that now? Okay. Really ugly. Okay. When His Majesty Mansa Musa was about to go on his campaigns to handle the business of the Songhai Empire, he would tell his queen, he would say, ma'am, get ready. You got to come with me because I'm going out here to handle some business, okay? And I need you with you by my side. So Her Majesty would say, well, I'm the queen of the Songhai Empire. You know why I have to go off there into the field as men's work? He simply stated that, ma'am, I much rather would die with you by my side than to leave you here and we get overran to have you violated by invaders. You see what I mean? Mm-hmm. So Her Majesty went out there, you know, with the king, Mansa Musa, and what have you, you know, and he went out there and handled the business. And then, of course, this is knowledge that they do not teach us in these public indoctrination centers that I commonly refer to as the public school system. Dr. Frances Cress Wilson taught us that. And in her writings in the 1970s, she has stated is that they're going to push this agenda through the music industry, you know, through rap and hip hop, with all this whoredom, with all this misogyny. You see what I'm saying? And then the sad part about it is that those who are participating in this are not even going to realize that they have been programmed to keep the Black community divided within. And then not to mention that you got these migrants coming into New York City, Denver, Chicago, Los Angeles, and pulling criminal activity. And they are giving them all these resources, okay? But they sit up there and tell us they can't give us reparations. You see what I'm saying? Well, now you people, were slaves and all that. No.
Hey, y'all,
but the miseducated Negro, Henry Louis Gates,
not too much.
You know, he's going to sit up here and place more emphasis off of the white raping, slave trading pedophiles that violated his family, and he's going to.
Right, and we've seen flips, right?
Oh yes.
In the last city council election, Chantel Lewis was trailing in those first counts.
Yes.
By how many?
Yes.
By, I would guess, in the 2 to 3% range. It wasn't tiny, but it wasn't as large as
Massive,
10.
Yeah.
Are you calling this, Director Esserman? What are your thoughts?
I'm not calling it. I'm going to hold out hope, right? That final hope. So no, I'm not willing to call it, but I'm not overly hopeful.
And I'll tell you are calling it.
There's no mathematical solution that gets Hashim to
overtaking Senator Fields' lead. He would have to win almost a 9-to-1 average on every ballot drop returning, and I just don't see that math out there for him. And we're not talking about 10 points. We're not talking about 15 points. We're talking about almost 40 points. So this race is pretty much over. I think that the only chance for progressives at this point, because it seems like progressives are down across the state. And right now, the only one that's within striking distance that is going to keep us up all night is the C region race at large.
Well, hold on a second. I want to go here for just a quick second, but I want to think about what you're saying, because Tim Hernandez is still in this fight, and I consider him, more of that progressive leaning position.
Yeah, but
and it looks like his. Closer. Yeah, but I'm just saying, when you said the progressives, we've got to, you talked about Elizabeth Epps. We talked about Hashem Coates, but we also talked about Tim Hernandez, and his race is one of those nail biters I think we were talking about. We won't know until the next drop in terms of who's gaining
11 points.
Like who's gaining and who's sustaining. These next drops, you've got to gain, and you've got to think that the folks who turned in their votes already those are the ones that are being counted. The ones that have turned in their ballots at 7 and earlier today, and maybe even over the next past couple of days, those are late voters that haven't showed up yet. But closing a 70%, 30% gap is a lot different than 15 to 12, etc. Median, I want to give you some words, because you, like I, are not calling this right now.
Right, I am not calling it, and here's the couple of reasons. So first and most importantly, I get that there's you have the percentages and all of that, but if we don't, unless you can show me how many voters voted in that district, I can't say that the math is mathing, because there's too many variables. So you can get me close to X equals still 2 minus 9 or, whatever. But I think that we need to allow for there to be another drop to give us indication of how many votes are being counted, are being accounted for. We won't know until we know, but I think that there's opportunity for us to wait at least until another drop or two to see, because we very well could be seeing the results of people that voted early, that did cast their ballots. And I think when we have that progressive, I don't like the term progressive, but I get what you all are saying. But when we have that conversation, typically it's the conservatives that vote quick. They vote first, they get it done, they get it in early, etc. So when we have that conversation about progressives, we typically are the ones where you have to capture our vote. So I'm going to wait. I'm going to hold out. I'm going to ask some questions. And then you also have a population, maybe not as much in this race, but you also just have a population that says, I have to make that phone call to see who to vote for.
Everybody.
Not to mention the elders. I dropped off a lot of elder ballots today, and I think about 22 of them were in Arapahoe County. So,
well, I could tell you, I want to go over back to first. Lacey, did I hear you going to call this one?
22.
Yeah. I'm trying to not, but that's a tough spread. Yeah. That's a huge margin. I think everyone's feeling the sadness in the room. At least at this table, I feel a heavy sadness. But I've never seen an election come back like that I can remember.
Well, I was having a conversation earlier with Ayante and others. The great Leanne Wheeler and I were having this conversation earlier, and this is my massage therapist here today. I don't think Senator Rhonda Fields' numbers are going to shrink. I think she's going to get more in the next drop. I believe that Hashem will get more in the next drop, and I think they will both increase throughout the night. I all of the votes that are out there, I think you're going to start seeing this trend of each of them are going to get a little bit more. I don't think I'm going to see a stall out in those votes. And the conversation I was having with Ayante earlier, and I think even the great Leanne Wheeler, was, Are the voters in D5, Arapahoe County, many or some of the same voters that have continually sent?
They going underground, living, doing their thing, and got these little robots in them, like that robot dog and everything else they doing, and then they gonna blame the AI for their BS. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
And then they gonna tell you when you can go to the bank, when you can take money out of your account, however, whatever. I'm just saying, brothers and sisters, I think we have to go back like my father said. You know what? My father, he didn't use the bank. And he wasn't Mexican. All right, he was a black man, longshoreman, farmer. He didn't use banks. He had a safe in his house, and he kept his money at home because he didn't trust them back then. And that's what we need. You got to have a kitty at home. If everything that you're doing, just look at the last time. When have we actually passed money? We pass money on the computer. We pass money in cash. We pass money. Do you see any currency going through our hands?
No,
whatsoever?
man, you don't.
Oh, Lord. You don't. And so they utilizing that. And then they're going to tell you it's the AI. No, motherfucker. No, goddammit. It's you. Them white supremacists and them honorary supremacists.
Right.
Because they want to sit up there and they want to be out and want us to be their puppet. Okay?
Yeah, exactly, sister. There is no argument with undisputed truth, and I will be a complete idiot to argue with undisputed truth. But once again, Sister Hatshepsut, like you said, as sister was saying right here, why it's important to have our self-identity and knowledge of self, okay? Now, I will argue with anybody in regard to Stinky Bird, commonly referred to as Twitter, now as X, is because I had some joker get up here and try to argue with me, and he was shown the door quite quickly. That's one. That Elon Musk is an African American. And I said, dear idiot, he is a boy. Why would you say he was born in South Africa? No. Idiot. He is an invader. He is a Boer. Okay? You see what I'm saying? Just like we're not Americans. You see what I'm saying?
Well, you gotta also go back because all them Moors, let me tell you something, even goes there. We have to go inside, brothers and sisters, because all your skin folk is not your kin folk, and I don't care if they claim they Moors or Nation of Islam. Am I stepping on somebody's toes? Whether they sit over there talking about, oh, they the new Christians, the Hebrew Israelites, or whatever they want to be. Am I stepping on somebody's toes? That's right. Because they don't be doing everything right. That's right. Right.
Okay, we're getting
because
feedback.
When we go back to studying what our ancestors did, because we have to know that Kemet, that they call Egypt, was the capital of the world. Even if you know, just like my one of my sisters said, Nika Williams, and she telling the truth fact, the motherland don't move. Everywhere else, when it comes to a storm or currency, but the motherland stay grounded. It does not move. That is the one continent that does not move with any type of destruction. When it comes to any type of weather, it does not move. Right? Our ancestors said a long time ago that we are supposed to lead them people alone. It even says it in Mayat that we are supposed to leave them alone. We turn around and we have to do however we do because of colonialism, because of whatever. But we coming back to our original form. We don't need none of them jokers. None whatsoever. Because if you look in that mirror, you are that goddess. And the man is that God. Everything you need is inside of you. We've been hoodwinked, bamboozled, and some more.
Yes, ma'am.
And all them jokers that sit over there and say, they're not practicing right. You got the Moors sitting over there fighting with each other. You see what I'm saying? Oh, talking about ain't nobody practicing. What, really? They don't even know everything Noble Drew. They try to say that Noble Drew Ali wasn't even a revolutionary. How's Noble Drew Ali And when you have to sit up there and when it's holy day, you got to mention Marcus Garvey. You already know Marcus Garvey was a revolutionary, so why wasn't Noble Drew Ali?
Right.
And then on top of the Nation of Islam, they turn around, they fighting in amongst them too, right? And then they say however they say, but at least you can get Nation of Islam. You need to clean up the community. They gonna look, they can come out there high or whatever and beat something down, but they all them folks. Even in the church. But where does it go that we don't practice our spirituality? Our strength is inside of ourselves. The beginning, and we are this. Even that Bible that they keep on revising, or however they do, it already tells you in the end, because everything on this earth, in this universe, came from our ancestors. There's proof in the pudding.
Yep.
We didn't need the joker from Russia to tell us that Yahshua was a man of color, was a black
Jesus.
Common sense will tell you that looking at his terrain.
He said, I worship black Jesus.
You see what I'm saying? And then we sit around here and we listen to that. All of that stuff, when it comes to religion, is a way of control. I'm not saying that nothing has aspects or whatever, and you're not supposed to learn in different categories, but leave your mind open. Our ancestors were so powerful to the point that they sit over and tell you that aliens came out the sky to make the pyramids. No. If you look at history and everything that goes, what happened was, especially with the climate, and everything that goes on, and you look at nature, because nature don't lie to you. We shrink. We shrink. Not only from the environment. But anyway, it's just deeper than that, brothers and sisters. Let me tell you something. We are the all. So you don't have to categorize yourself or be a part of anything. You can be a part of everything, because all of it came from us. So you can be Nation Islam, you can be a Moor, you can be all of it. All of it. See, the key is you gotta know to take something, bring it in, and then throw it back. What you don't need, throw it out. Because your spirit will let you know that as the God and the goddess that is inside of you. But anyway, I'm rambling. I love all my brothers and sisters. Black power. Black love is black power. Right?
Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Sister Hatshepsut. Okay, and we thank you for calling in, sister, and thank you so very much. Okay, Sister Hatshepsut. Okay, please elaborate on what Sister was saying right there, ma'am.
What I was gonna say was that I'm a Nation of Islam member, and I don't look at my way of life as a religion. I look at the Nation of Islam as a way of life, and I've never been so peaceful in my life until I joined at the age of 17, and I'm 46 now, so I've been in it almost all my life.
Okay, that's beautiful. Yeah, that's beautiful, sister.
We all need to extort some type of peace. So.
Well, you know what? Guess what, sister? I took my Shahada at 17. I was Sunni Muslim, and we was in New York when they had the march in, about Bosnia. So, like I said, we are the all. If that's what makes you, however, make you a humanitarian to do right when it comes to your brothers and sisters, then so be it. But I'm just saying, there's more out here that we need to explore, sister. And much respect. You know, I'm Sunni, and then after that, I'm also a Moor. My last name is also Bey. So like I said, I believe in the all because our ancestors created it all. You can't tell me anything that the white man created. He didn't create Islam. He didn't create Christianity.
I'm gonna tell you what the white man created. The white man created disease. He created filth. He created division. Okay, and this is why out here in this desert, ladies, you know what I'm saying? It's a pleasant 105 degrees right now. I go out here and get more melanated because we need the sun live. And then, of course, as you know, with Africa, it sits, okay, the equator, if I'm not mistaken, and correct me if I'm wrong, ladies, because like I said, I'm going from memory and I'm old right now, so my mind ain't what it used to be. But everything where the sun hits the earth directly is a garden of Eden. Plant life, herbal life, food, you know what I'm saying? Even the air. But then you get these neo-colonialists that come over there that's been miseducated with Eurocentric doctrines, you know, talking about looking at ourselves as savages. And also, too, condolences to the family that taken a Hajj recently that lost their family members. Okay, so most definitely, of course, you know, we want to give them our concerns.
I'm going to tell you a little bit about the sun. Just like here in San Francisco, they got all these tall buildings around here, and it's kind of chilly. Not because it's by the water, because they build buildings alone to block the sun. The sun really isn't for them. The sun is for us, our melanin, right? You know what I'm saying? Even when it came to our ancestors, whatever with the temples, they knew where to place it at, so they can still get that vitamin D naturally coming from the sun, right? And then, you know, you got the troglodytes, they go out there and do sunbathing or hive or whatever, but because of our melanin, we don't have to lay out in the sun. You know what I'm saying? Because of our melanin, we absorb it anyway. And that's also a part of our cleanse. You know what I'm saying? But then they say that, you know, a lot of us are vitamin D deficient. And that's because that we don't spend time inside because we want to sit under the air conditioning that's going to kill your ass quicker than the goddamn sun will.
Sister. Okay, yeah, we got to watch the language on here a little bit, but I appreciate your knowledge
booty.
on.
Well, ass is actually in the Bible.
Okay, Sister Hatshepsut, do you care to, elaborate on what Sister was saying right here? And also to us, here we got a caller here from 203. The last 3 is 889. I'm going to unmute their mic. Okay, Sister Hatshepsut, please continuing with your questions, man.
Yeah, so the reason why I chose to speak about self-identity and knowledge of self is because I believe that it's very important that we connect with our Creator to learn about ourselves and to live our lives the way that He chose us to live it, not the way that we want to personally. So,
okay.
Well, you know, God, well, you know, that's what we gonna differ because, you know, even dealing with, I know you know about Clarence X, right? Clarence X used to be a member of the Nation of Islam a long time ago. But, you know, with the 5% nation, one of the things they do, knowledge of self is number one, right? But also with that, God is inside of you. And what makes God, why does it have to be one particular sex? First of all, if you look at your body.
What I was going to say about God is that He breathed into us of His Spirit. So
wait a minute. How do you know that it wasn't? How do you know it wasn't a female that breathed in the Spirit? And I'm going to show you this through science. Now, if you was to put a woman and a man next to each other, in actuality, they got the same concept of life. You got 2 arms, and we're going to go into Allah, head, arm, leg, right? Yeah. So you got 2 arms, 2 legs, or whatever. Now, let's go inside the body. In actuality, all of our organs and everything is in place. The only thing different is that he is external and mine as a woman is internal, right? So the man, because we have to go back to all the way back in history, you know, with our ancestors, that a woman can actually impregnate herself. That's why I said that you have to look at nature through the sun. That's how powerful it was. And then back then with our ancestors, we didn't even have menstrual cycles. It wasn't a need for your body to keep on cleansing like they do to releasing of what they say as MA. So even when you go to the universe, it's always masculine and feminine. Everything that you do, even when you come to the sun, you go to the moon, it's masculine and feminine. When you look at the man, you look at the woman, it's masculine and feminine. So why does God have to be a man?
Well, I didn't just naturally say that God was a man. I said
you
God.
said he got to breathe. But you already got the breath.
Well, I'm not saying that God is a man. I'm saying that God is a female. What I'm saying is that God is an entity, a supreme divine being. That's also.
But what about the God? So you're not that being inside of you. You don't have no soul. You know what about you?
Okay, ma'am, please don't argue with me. Please don't argue with me. Like I was saying,
I'm not arguing with you.
Us of His spirit. If He breathes into us of His spirit, what does that mean?
That's you.
It means that ye are all God's children of the Most High.
That's how she usually is, man.
Well, who is this God that you're talking about? I want to know who this God is.
Someone that you should be worshiping.
Who is worship? So I'm supposed to bow down and worship someone else, but I'm not supposed to bow down and worship myself?
I never said that, ma'am. That never came out of my mouth.
Okay, we got a caller here out of 203. The last 3 is 889. They got their hand up. Okay, 5711. We're going to get back to you shortly. Okay, 203. Okay, greetings, brother. Okay, all right. Who is this here? And the voice sounds very familiar.
This is Elia.
Brother Elia.
Oh yeah. Okay, yeah, brother Elia. Okay, how you be, brother Elia? Okay, what's on your mind,
great,
sir?
brother. How are you?
The more some
okay, I'm hanging in there.
Okay, honors to the Side Star on the call and the Side Stars that were just talking. Honors to the conversation. But I'm listening, and so in listening, I'm just responding to everything I heard. And so for us to have peace within us, first of all, your religion, your God, that's your business, nobody else's business. And I am a Moor, but your God is nobody else's business. Your conduct is everything, especially in the public. You're accountable for you. You're responsible to you. And then you bring that you into a us. Everyone has an experience, has done something somewhere as a career and a profession that talent needs to be employed by us, through us, in order for us to actually talk about everything that we're talking about. Everything that the other side has done. And we got to remember, y'all, when we say white people, these Caucasians are not the people. All they did was pick the ball up and make it harder for us. But when we agree, we're the title, Black and African American, we done this to ourselves. When we say Black power, we are demoting ourselves. Black power is like saying no power. Let's have no power. These are the words. And I sent the video of Hillary Clinton talking about the Moors. I don't know if you got it. I put it in your message box, in your inbox. But talking about the Moors being the first nation to recognize the United. These are our ancestors who recognize them, a nation of people. And that's why they signed a treaty with us, recognizing them on this land. Recognizing them. We recognize them. She said it. Obama said it. This is the manner that we should be thinking in and operating in. But everybody's religion, even your personal lifestyle, I don't care If a brother is gay, it bothers me, but it don't bother me. You know why? Because that means there's another sister out there for me, my grandson. We 2 or 3 wives. Want to be silly? Go ahead. We ain't got nothing to do with that.
Okay, I don't mean to, to impede on your wisdom, brother. You're a very, very knowledgeable man. But here's one thing that I've done, going around the sun 65 years. That homosexuality stuff, man, that's some European garbage, okay? It's because 2 men cannot procreate. 2 women cannot
agree with you. I agree with you.
Okay, cannot procreate. Now, what happens too, Sister Hatshepsut, and Naya, we're going to get back to you, sister, is that when you look at Silicon Game Valley, it is right there in the Bay Area, okay? And then, of course, we all know what the city of San Francisco represents. As I stated before, and I believe too, Sister Hatshepsut, you and I have had this conversation, when a group of sisters got together to raise money for breast cancer research, the ladies in the coldest month of the year, in January, had went out there to the city of San Francisco bare-chested, and they told the men, okay, you can look at the Jiggly Wigglies, you could foam in the mouth at the Jiggly Wigglies, but do not touch the Jiggly Wigglies, but hit that bucket right here, because we're fundraising for breast cancer research to save the Jiggly Wigglies. And then Kamala Harris, the city and county where you were the district attorney, I believe your office or some associates to your office is going to write these women tickets for indecent
Black power exposure. It's not Africa.
My question is why are you going to allow naked men to walk down the streets of San Francisco, and you got children out there seeing this? Okay, this is what I'm concerned about. You see what I mean? Okay, but
can I give you an answer? Can I give you an answer?
Jesse, what? Bye.
So everything. When you point to stuff like that, right there, I'll say in my brain, I say, okay, the music, the movies, the images, the movies, and the music that we see out here, that is performed by people who look like us. See, this is the thing. This is the part that we have to focus on to save ourselves. Our people are out here doing things. I mean, all right. So when you start to talk like that,
be like, hey, I got to work on this.
I don't even know what this is. So when I watch a movie or I read a book or a story, right? And I've been doing this since I was a child. They told me when you read a book, you get to go to another world. So I was always the hero in the book, right? I was always the hero in the movie, and then they brought out Medea. I'm not the hero in that. Yeah, I'm not there. So I understand where you're coming from and what you're saying. Yes, I'm down with what you're saying. Bruh, come on now. That's why I said, but a lot of these people who are in these positions, they've been abused, and abused people abuse people. And somewhere along the line, somebody has to be disciplined. See, we don't use the word civil or civility because of civil motifs. We don't use the word civil. We're disciplined people. I have discipline in myself, and when I deal out externally, I have discipline. And this is what I put out here. And so we have to discipline ourselves. But and we have to recognize the sciences, and one of the sciences is law. Law states that Black and African American people are nobodies. They do not use anthropological, biological, or sociological sciences to describe Blacks or African Americans. And then when you read it on the census, they don't say that they're original peoples. Everybody's a part of the original peoples except Blacks and African Americans. It is from supremacy. This is my thing. If we're going to get rid of supremacy, it's the thought that we're getting rid of. We have to get rid of the thought. The only reason why we keep talking about what they doing instead of what we can do. We have a school, a university for our children sitting in front of us right now with different ones of us as the instructors throughout the day and time. We have it right now, but we're not talking right to each other, and everybody's too worried about public school system and all of that. Well, your birth certificate and social security card, somebody else can show you that part. You can talk to somebody else about that part, and they'll tell you how to do that, and then, you know. But in saying that, I want to remind everyone that in a nation, we see how the United States functions as a corporation. Well, through the Moorish Science Temples, you have a corporation. Now, I'm not telling everybody the Moorish Science Temples like that. I'm just telling you that. Okay, so let me put it like this. So when we talk about history, as far back as we ever go is we say slavery, and then we talk about 1930s. When we turn black with Elijah Muhammad and the Nation of Islam. Now, prior to slavery, who were we and what were we doing? Because the story of the out of Africa theory is not going to work over here. I'll get to that later. But right now, let's deal with over here. And us being over here when they came. So this is our land. Let's deal with the treaty and the fact that treaty, they had to write the treaty with us. We had to agree. We had to agree. We need that responsibility back from us today now.
Okay, Sister Hatshepsut, do you care to respond to Brother El-Yah, ma'am?
Yes. In 1930, Master Farad Muhammad came to America. And yes, I do personally believe that God is a man because of the studies and what I've done through my prayers and the responses and everything. But a lot of people believe that he was God in person. I believe he was God in person. And he came, and in 1931, he revealed himself with a conversation with, what is that guy's name? He had a conversation over the radio with Einstein.
Oh, yeah, Albert Einstein, yes.
Yeah, with Albert Einstein. They had a conversation over the radio, and it was on July 4th, 1931. And
the 4th of their lives, how about that? You know,
so basically what he was talking about was, basically, when he came, he taught us that we were the chosen people, and that we were self. He taught us all the 5 pillars.
Yeah.
He taught us Islam. And he taught us that the white man was the devil.
Okay.
And that we were all God, children of the Most High God. You know, that he brought that to us because we were taught Christianity with a white Jesus for so many years. We needed that.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
And then also, too, if I may say, let me just hold on one second. Okay, and Sister Hatshepsut and Brother El-Yah, just bear with me 1 second. Okay, now correct me if I'm wrong. Okay, it stated that he had the hair of lamb's wool and his skin was that of burnt brass. So if you're not describing a brother of African heritage, I'm not sitting out here in Las Vegas in 107-degree heat. You know what I mean? Okay, and therefore, and then I challenge. Say that again, ma'am?
I said, yes, he was a black man.
Oh, yes, ma'am, just by the description that they're telling you. But however, when we were brought here, you see what I'm saying? And of course, as you know, Sister Hatshepsut and Brother El-Yah, okay, all right, and Sister Naya, I see you there, ma'am. You know, we're going to unmute you very shortly. They made it a point to demasculate the black man in the presence of the black female. They sodomized him, they beat him, you know what I'm saying? And then, of course, that sodomy stuff, that's Eurocentric garbage right there. So take that there to Greece, you know what I mean? Also, too, is that they had always called him a boy is because they never wanted him to see himself as a man. Now, Skip Gates, you're welcome to call in too, sir, because that garbage that I just read about you is asinine, totally asinine. And I do see we got a call out of Chicago, if memory serves me correct, right there on the 773 area code. Okay. Now,
Brother Shabaka, can you respond to that real quick, Brother Shabaka?
Okay, please let me finish, Elia, and I'm going to give it to you, brother. I'm going to turn it over to you, then we're going to go to our guest host. Okay. All right. Now, keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, my youth is gone. Okay. And I believe you and Sister Hatshepsut and I had, and Brother Paris, have had agreeable disagreements about this. Okay, so therefore, if what I've laid down through what I've lived through, to quote the words of an Asian man who said, in any given situation, take what is useful, leave what is useless, and everybody knows who he is. You see what I'm saying? There is no argument with undisputed truth. Okay. And when you get old like this right here, you know what I'm saying, you do sit back and reflect on your life. And then, of course, you ask the Almighty to remove whatever stones are that are in your footsteps on the remainder of your life, to remove them, and then try to pass down information that you have witnessed to the next generations, like the concept of Sankofa, going back to tradition, is the first step forward. Okay, brother Elia, come on with it. Then we're going back to Queen Hatshepsut, and then we're going to go back to Sister Anaya. Okay, go ahead, Elia. Then Queen Hatshepsut, our guest host, and then Sister Anaya.
Thank you for that, Star, because that is the truth. The First Nation of Islam in New Haven, Connecticut was started in my grandmother's house when my mother was 13 years old. So like 1955, that's when the First Nation of Islam in New Haven, Connecticut was, and all the leaders had been to my grandmother's house, including El Hajj Malik El Shabazz, that everyone else calls Malcolm X. But so I said that way to get that response so I can say this. But in 1929, Prophet Noble Drew Ali died. And the only thing, I'm not telling you to be in the Moorish Science Temple. I am telling you we're wise people, right? So listen to these words that Prophet Noble Drew Ali wrote down with some other lawful documents for us. We are not Black and African American. He said that in he died suspiciously. All of a sudden in 1930, 1931, we calling ourselves Black and African American. This was written. It was and we can show the pictures of, not of Elijah Muhammad with Prophet Noble Drew Ali, but we could show them all in the same surroundings, all in Detroit and all the other areas. We can show the teachings going out to everybody that we do not call ourselves, because once we did, it made us the property of the United States, and we got stripped of our rights to this land. This is the part that we're talking about. So,
okay, now, brother,
whatever religion and how you believe in your God is how you believe. Stay beautiful with it. But when it comes to us having United States IDs in our pocket, and we as a nation can have our own, this is the thing that's holding us back. Because in order to have our own, that means each one of us are running something within our nation to make our nation work. Yes, sir, brother.
Okay, yes, sir. Okay, it's because to prove your point, and then also to Queen Hatshepsut, of which you would think on this one. Okay, I was born in Crook County. You know the place. It was the home of Al Capone for many, many years. So I was discussing with an individual about it, and he says, when you look at the bottom of your birth certificate, you're going to see a red number in bold print and capital letters. And I says, okay, man, there it is right there. And he says that there is, I believe he stated that you are used as capital or as collateral on a loan. Now, as me and Brother Paz had discussed, also too with Chef Rob, who brought light to his brother Sheikh Imam Akbar, is that the Federal Reserve stole the money from the Freedmen's Bank and tried to make it look like it was our fault. Okay. So therefore, we've had haters on this platform. Oh no, you NGRs don't deserve reparations. Nobody's left behind, and they booted out. You know what I'm saying? And Brother Che would tell you that we have no problem pushing the eject button here on ignorance. Okay. And our message is pretty much, I guess, it's getting out is because we don't have no idiots tonight. You know what I mean? Okay, so it's all great. You know, each one teach one, but like I said, for my generation, I grew up during the Civil Rights Movement. I grew up during the so-called Black empowerment era, and then when I use the term Black, out of respect for you and Sister Akshita, I'm using it as common term. You know what I'm saying? Okay. And then also, too, what I would like to do, with your permission, Sister Hatshepsut, after you finish your lesson, if time permits, is to discuss of what's going on in Kenya with these neo-colonialists over there. Okay, now, what I mean by and what I mean by neo-colonialists is Brother Che so well said that you tethers who are up there on the puppet strings of Eurocentric powers talking about this is progress, and then the United States government is going to send over there to President Museveni of Uganda, one is represented as well. If you guys don't embrace LGBT, we'll cut away your aid. And President Museveni said, look, fool, check this out. We don't practice that garbage here. And take your aid with you. And then he waited about 3 minutes to say, fool, you still here? I mean, do we have to physically throw you up out of here, man? Because you're not coming to us with that garbage. Life only happens between a union of man and woman. And then look how the legal system, the educational system, drag queen storybook hour that they had in California a few years back, and then they killed it because to find out that them two dudes were had prison records for child molestation. You see what I mean? So, you know, you got to look at this massive confusion that they're putting on us, is because as Queen Hatshepsut has stated, we gave this world everything. As Sister Naya has stated, we gave this world everything. Our sisters had to teach these white women, you know, about feminine hygiene. We had to sit there and had to teach them how to bathe themselves. You see what I'm saying? Because they thought, the Europeans that is, well, man, to bathe is ungodly. To bathe is ungodly. Man, you walking around stinking, man. You stink so bad, man, people around you want to vomit. But then again, we gave the world the concept of bathing. And you hate us so much. And you look at us as savages. And Dr. Skip Gates, you welcome to call in his phone number too as well, Cat, because I got a whole lot to say to you of the diatribes that I've read of your garbage. You place your lineage off the white, raping, slave trading, pedophile, as opposed to standing up to being a black man that God has made you. Common term, El Yah. You know what I'm saying? So I hope you and Sister Akshita understand that. And that there's my way of saying that, you know, with me on my way out, my generation on my way out, you know, with your generation coming in, you know, if you all discovered something, man, that overlooked, great, beautiful. But I'm talking about the folks with the kinky hair, with the deep cans, the wide noses, and no disrespect, ladies, the sisters with the curvature that looks like the letter C, as opposed to Taylor Swift looking at 6 o'clock, if I might add, on there as well, too. Okay, Queen Hatshepsut, on to you, and then hold on there, Brother El Yao, because Queen Hatshepsut is our guest host. Then we see you there too, Anaya. We're going to get back to you, man. Okay, Queen Hatshepsut, and then on to El Yah. Okay, and
what I was just briefly, I was just going to say we need to practice more unity.
Okay.
In order to be successful and bring about success as a people. not a religion, but as a people, we have to practice more unity.
Okay. And I see we lost some callers right here. Okay, please continue, sister. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to scratch the callers that dropped. Okay, we appreciate you for calling in. 773 dropped. Okay. Sister Naye had dropped. Okay. And then 318 has dropped. Okay. Alrighty. And 203 is yeah, 720. Okay.
Shabaka'S Black Experience Enhanced right
Okay, I think there's Brother Che. I think he's having communication problems. Okay, but please go ahead, Sister Hatshepsut, and then we're gonna turn it back over to Yah, and we're gonna go to Brother Che.
Yeah, that's all I was saying, because he had mentioned about Black people progressing, or not really progressing, but being successful. And I said, well, we have to practice more unity in order to bring about success as a people. That's all.
Okay, all righty, okay. All righty, okay. Yah, your comment, sir?
Yes, sir. So in our unity, we have to be able to stand before all forms of law. We have a treaty, and the treaty was signed by our Moorish ancestors. There's no way we can argue it. And Brother Paris tell you, I shared a video with him and Shabaka with Hillary Clinton talking about it, Obama talking about the treaty that they signed with us. We were the first nation to recognize that. Today is that day that all those things that we talked about being a nation and with a nation of this, whoa, now we are a nation. And we have other documents that we can show why we're a nation and how we're a nation, that our ancestors were here long before your transatlantic slave trade you want to talk about. We can.
Has in itself no character of enmity against the laws, religion, or tranquility.
I'm sick and tired of the way old King Pharaoh's treating my children, Moses, and you're going to lead them away. You're going to lead them out of Egypt and across the river of Jordan. And it's going to take a long time, and you ain't going on no excursion train. You're going to work awfully hard for something you're going to find when the trip is over. What's that, Lord? The land of Canaan.
No country has been a friend of the United States longer than Morocco. And as the treaty our nations signed in 1786 says, and I quote, "Trusting in God, it will remain permanent."
The first nation to recognize my country was Morocco.
You were the first nation to recognize us back in 1777.
As a student of history, I also know civilization's debt to Islam.
Understanding words is what you really need to start doing. Understanding words is what you really need to start doing. You need to start doing your homework and understanding words, especially in relation to law and government, because there is a world of occultism that is operating today throughout the world, in which you use certain words, and when those words are used in a court, they don't mean the same thing at all.
In 1796, our second president, John Adams, wrote, "The United States has in itself no character of enmity against the laws, religion, or tranquility of Muslims."
If you go back in history, in ancient history, where all of this began, back in the land of Canaan, and you probably have heard in the Bible, the land of Canaan. The Canaanites were Phoenician bloodline, and in the ancient Phoenician language, Cana meant merchant banker.
You've had 4 of these major impacts that the Black people have made to the Americas. You've had 4 of these major impacts that the black people have made to the Americas. You've had 4 of these major impacts that the black people have made to the Americas, not only before Columbus was born, but before even Spain or Italy existed. That's the kind of roots that are in this country.
This is why you hear Blinken talking about this is Egypt of the West, because they already know we're one and the same people, you know, and we got stuff here that's older than it is in Giza. And all scholars know that, but they won't admit to that because they keep us separating us from both sides like we're 2 different people. But those who know the real history know that we're one blood.
The very word merchant comes from mer, M-E-R, for the sea, for water. As a mermaid, we have merchant.
That's all part of it. Long before that, there's a heritage of kings, seafarers, religious missionaries, and they were all here. But it happened so long ago, there's just so little of it left.
As a student of history, I also know civilization's debt to Islam.
And by knowing that, and the more you know about it, it's an empowerment.
You already know that we're Aboriginal indigenous to this land. We've been here not a couple thousand years.
An ancient Egyptian tomb of Macedonians in the middle of the heartland of North America. It doesn't get any worse than that.
Not 10,000 years.
Yes, it doesn't get any worse.
Hundreds of thousands of years. We ain't brought here from nowhere, no how. We've been coming back and forth here even before the land separated. So that ain't, you know, that old diaspora stuff is modern, contemporary social engineering controls to separate these people mentally from their inherited land.
I can't think of anything. You know, if the people looking for Alexander's tomb had tablets with Alexander, Mariam and Setep and Ra written in Egyptian glyph on them, they would just be dancing in the streets. Yeah.
Again, when we talk about law, there's a Roman maximum in law that says, for he that would be deceived, let him. Simply meaning, if you are so ignorant as to be deceived, then that's your business, that's your problem. So you need to do your homework and find out what words mean.
You have got a heritage which is more than slavery. Sure, there was slavery, but that's not all.
They you know, if they had half, 1/10 of what it is that we have
but
here.
If it was in somewhere where conventional wisdom would
right.
Say if it was in Syria or
Jordan or Macedonia or Greece or Italy.
But 2 hours east of St. Louis.
No.
Before I begin to address the significance of this strategic dialogue and the next step in our long relations with Morocco, I want to say a few words about the events unfolding in the world today.
It was innovation in Muslim communities that developed the order of algebra, our magnetic compass and tools of navigation, our mastery of pens and printing, our understanding of how disease spreads and how it can be healed. Islamic culture has given us majestic arches and soaring spires, timeless poetry and cherished music, elegant calligraphy, and places of peaceful contemplation.
In many ways, the United States looks to Morocco to be a leader and a model.
I also know that Islam has always been a part of America's story.
America's commitment to religious tolerance goes back to the very beginning of our nation.
That America and Islam are not exclusive and need not be in competition. Instead, they overlap and share common principles. The relationship between Islam and the West includes centuries of coexistence and cooperation.
And as you know, we are home to people of all religions.
More recently, tension has been fed by colonialism that denied rights and opportunities to many Muslims.
We are home to people of all religions.
As a student of history, I also know civilization's debt to Islam.
Many of whom came to this country seeking the right to exercise their own religion.
If you put an S in front of words, it becomes swords. And that's what words are. They're cutting. They can cause you great trouble. Humans are word control creatures. So we need to establish what words mean.
As a student of history, I also know civilization's debt to Islam.
And we have the greatest respect for people of faith.
As the Holy Quran tells us, be conscious of God and speak always the truth.
Let us remind ourselves of the many ways in which not just our governments, but the people of our two nations have worked together.
In 1868, there was a corporation founded, and anyone can incorporate a company. Well, in 1868, there was a company incorporated. And in that particular company, the founders of that company they referred to it as the United States Corporation. And they stipulated that anybody who would be a member of that corporation or work for that corporation would be called not an employee, but a citizen. So today, if you are asked, are you a citizen of the United States? What you think you're being asked is, are you lawfully in this country to do business? That's not lawfully what's being asked. They didn't ask if you were in America lawfully. They asked you a specific question. Are you, of your own volition, out of your own mouth, testifying that you are a citizen of the United States? Because in that way, citizen of the United States means you are an employee of a foreign corporation operating on international maritime law. So today, the President of the United States is the president of a privately owned company. The company is called United States. And the word president is always a word that is used in corporate law. Banks have presidents. All companies have presidents. So there's a corporation called United States, privately owned, and it has a president. President Bush is not the president of America. President Bush is the president of a privately owned company. Privately owned, out of England. And you need to understand words and terms. Because I believe that there is a divine presence in the universe that men call God. And one day that divine presence is going to move on the earth and we're going to see freedom come back to this world. And when it does, you're going to need to understand words and terms and how.
War is not specific to a religion. There were Christian wars. There were Buddhist wars. There were Hindu wars. There were Islamic Moors. Like, it's not just a Islamic thing. There were Moors in Spain that from all different religious fractions or denominations. So
how they have been used to trick you.
That's noble true Ali right there.
As a student of history, I also know civilization's debt to Islam.
I'm gonna go back to
As a student of history, I also know civilization's debt to Islam.
That's what y'all was talking about.
It was Islam at places like Uluzar that carried the light of learning through so many centuries, paving the way for Europe's Renaissance and Enlightenment. I've come here to Cairo to seek a new beginning between the United States and Muslims around the world. I know there's been a lot of publicity about this speech, but no single speech can eradicate years of mistrust. Nor can I answer in the time that I have this afternoon all the complex questions that brought us to this point.
I'm sick and tired of the way old King Pharaoh's treating my children, Moses, and you're going to lead them away. You're going to lead them out of Egypt and across the river of Jordan. And it's going to take a long time, and you ain't going on no excursion train. You're going to work awfully hard for something you're going to find when the trip is over. What's that, Lord? The land of Canaan.
If I could just get you thinking again, you would save yourselves. That was profound. No good to all in. All right, I'm gonna push you back for the spiritual aspect.
That's who as a people. You know, it's not always only just selfishness. It's about every last one of us. You know, whether it's feeding our brother and sister, whether it's helping your mom, whether it's helping your brother, biological or but brother in friendship, whatever. But we need to learn how to help one another as a people and unite with one another. And like brother said, it's not about religion either. You know, of course, there's only one God orchestrating the whole deal, but we, you know, God wants us to unite.
Okay. All righty. Okay. And then also too, there's only the three of us left on here. It's because everybody else dropped off, and we appreciate them calling in. But would you agree, Sister Hatshepsut, okay, and El Yah, is that this knowledge you would have to spoon feed?
Yeah, that's why I'm not trying to come with the whole book.
Right. Okay, I understand and I recognize that. Okay, yes, ma'am. Yeah. Okay, because I learn a lot on here. Okay, but the thing is, though, as one of the ministers has said years ago, we're being persecuted because Christians or Muslims or atheists are being persecuted because we're Republicans or Democrats or independents. We're being persecuted of a certain way that we look, okay, of a certain heritage that we come from. Okay, and then of course, as we do know, is that the police are policy enforcers. Look at the word police and break it down. This is why they call it spelling, you know what I'm saying, as in mind control and what have you. And as Brother Che had put it out there, so we'll, once before in previous podcasts, the police have no legal obligation to protect you. Look at Sandra Bland. Look at Breonna Taylor. Look at Eula Love. And I mean, the list just goes on and on and on and on. Little Tamir Rice, Mario Woods. You see what I'm saying? They kill us with impunity. Okay, so I'm going to take it, El Yah and Sister Hatshepsut, since we're the only last two left here, that our people are probably having communications problems, or it could be that Blog Talk and social media, if not other entities, you know, they do their best to sabotage our podcast here, is because, you know, we speak against the popular version of what is true, okay? And my invitation is still...
what happened? No.
It's still open to those of you of Eurocentric or European descent, and I'm talking about with the straight hair, the blonde hair, and the blue eyes, to come out here and sit out here in this 105-degree temperature with us, and we will show you that we are not the same. Now, see, this is the part that's very, very interesting, okay? And that when it came to us, when we was having our own self-determination, okay, of how the power structure that be through Hollywood will come out there about that we are all the same, okay? And then, in reality, that we're not. Now, Sarge is going to tell me, and Sarge is AWOL tonight. Okay, Sarge, maybe you can't take the heat here, just like Joe Gibson can't take the heat here. Okay, y'all are welcome, but if y'all don't want to show up, fine, because we're going to still keep moving forward. Okay. Sarge is going to tell me that if he saw a Klansman wearing his pointy hat and his white robe, laying in the ER ward and needs blood, that he would give him a blood transfusion. I told Sarge he was crazy. I stated that if I was to witness such, that's great news to me, and I'll be going on about my business. You know what I'm saying? Look what they did to Emmett Till. You know, look what they did to so many of our brethren right there. And then, of course, like that, I argued with Sarge about the motion picture Mandingo. We ain't going to discuss that. Where these white men feel that they can go up there and help themselves to our women. But then, when a white woman goes approach the brother gets extorted. You know what I'm saying? Well, he either better do it to her, or she's going to tell the white rape and slave trading pedophile that he raped her. And then the brother is damned if he do, damned if he don't. But just like the rape and slave trading pedophiles that violated Henry Lewis's bloodline, Henry Louis Gates's bloodline, right there, is appropriate. But Dr. Henry Louis Gates, man, I feel sorry for you based off the material that I read about you right now. Now, there are those out there that say, well, Shabaka, all you guys teach is hatred and all that. And as we stated before, and El Yah's familiar with us on that one right there, is that we get our sources from Afrocentric resources, and we pretty much spit on Eurocentric resources, is because Eurocentric resources, over the course of my lifetime, I've discovered that are about 75% of lies, okay? And then when we talk about paradoxes, okay, the paradox being is that a hummingbird mathematically cannot fly, but yet he is most agile in his movements. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, so, you know, so what's the comments on that? And then we're going to go into our closing comments, you know what I'm saying? Because I think we fulfilled everything for this episode tonight, Sister Hatshepsut. Did we cover all topics, ma'am, that you had mentioned on the introduction, body, and conclusion?
Yes, sir. We just haven't done the conclusion yet.
Okay, all right, let's go off into our conclusion, ma'am.
Okay, I just wanted to say thank you for the enlightenment. Let us remember to tell ourselves who we are in the mirror tonight before you go to bed, and that you love yourself and your creator. Let's keep the love, peace, and happiness going. Peace. I can't hear you.
You can hear me?
No.
You're breaking up.
I'm breaking up. Okay, hold on.
You mean a monarchy? Monarchy. Most Muslim countries are monarchy, not theocratic. Or would that be the same as theocratic?
It was an honor being in your presence this evening, 5-star. If you don't mind, I'm going to ask Shabaka to send you 5-star Christina's information so you can friend her on Facebook. And
okay.
Because of the way our communities are, you would be the first person from the Nation of Islam who can say, I'm from the Nation of Islam, and anybody else you want to bring with you, we love you. And so we're asking you questions like, really? So how do y'all see your future? What do y'all see for a school? You got people ready to build a school? Because when you build a school, it's not going to be, oh, they're the Nation of Islam. We don't know. Our children go to the school that got built. We're not arguing about where we're going. And now they earn the money and we're going to pay them to educate our children beyond what our children are doing. So we are looking to build us, but everyone has to take accountability and responsibility for the ability to do. And based on our teachings, like when they come in for reading, you all have your own holy book. Read from your holy book and then write 2 pages about what you read today. And then help just teach them how to read and write. We don't, or all the other stuff we don't need to do with them. All we need to do is teach them how to read and write. When it comes to math, we could start with the degrees of shapes and then have them break the shapes down into different sizes and build them back up, and then ask them other questions that relate to money, degrees, and because it's all 1/4, a half, a third. So math is easy. What are we talking about? Math is very easy to teach our children and how to divide, subtract, add, subtract, multiply, and divide. We could teach our children that all day. And the secret thing is everyone has the internet. So now we really talk to your child when they're 12, 13. What do you want to do with life? And through their computer, we can figure out free stuff that the child must now sit down and read. And then it's up to the parents, of course, right now to help them get through. But we as a nation, we're looking for our children to be software developers and things of that nature. So whatever we do to make it all beneficial. To make it beneficial. Say that?
I was saying, yeah, I understand.
Okay, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. And so we need people to come in, and we do have our own currency that we're just starting. So you and others, Shabaka, everybody's earning on our bonds right now. But because everybody has to come in and claim it, there's papers to sign and stuff like that. We have to run a government. Just like they running one on us, we have to run one for us in a lawful manner. And that's why the treaty, we have our own constitutions, but everybody has to come and see it for themselves. So if Shabaka would give you Star Christina's information, we can begin that, because we operate the same as the Nation of Islam, because that's how I came up. No, the side stars can rock together and get down, and the brother stars can rock together and get down, and then we can come together and all rock out together and get down. And so that's the format.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. What were you just saying, Brother Shabaka?
I don't know. I don't know if he's going to come in. Do we want to hang up on him? What are we doing? You going to hang in until he gets on?
Shabaka. Yeah, I don't know what he's doing.
Yeah, I think we're going to go ahead and conclude the show.
Shabaka.
And then I'll be calling Brother Shabaka to make sure that he got everything across to me that he wanted to tonight.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you too much. You don't know how much. Thank you. Peace.
Oh, I don't know if y'all can hear me, but peace to y'all, Sister Hatshepsut, for hosting the show tonight. Self-Identity and Knowledge Self from Season 8, Episode 51 of Shabaka'S Black Experience Enhanced in conjunction with the Frontline Black News. Make sure you like and subscribe to all our platforms, Frontline Black News. Sarge is right. Oh, putting on white blood and fucking asshole, so he has to think about that for the rest of his life. Interesting. That's an interesting take on it. Both systems are undemocratic and usually do not allow dissent or political freedom. Yeah, which ones, even the so-called democracies don't allow that, so I don't really see how what we got going on over here is better than there. But thank you for tuning in, Walter. Join us on Friday for Grand Rises with Shabaka and the Chase. And I don't know if we're going to be doing another show this week outside of that. Lady Tate kept the RVA. She might be doing a show tomorrow or later on tonight, so stay tuned for that. So make sure I like and subscribe to Frontline Black News on YouTube and Facebook. The Revolutionary Agenda on YouTube and Facebook. It's Shabaka'S Black Experience Enhanced. on Twitter, on Facebook and Twitter.com or X.com now. Shabaka EXP and Shabaka's Experience Enhanced on Blog Talk Radio. So peace, love, light, reparations for separations of Black empowerment. Chan Kruma, Colorado House District, House Representative of House District 8 candidate signing out for Mile High Income, an illegal migrant flooded city and a sundown town known as Aurora, Colorado. Peace, Black family.